My husband, 25, and I, 28 female, live in an apartment with our toddler daughter. It's not super big, just a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. My sister-in-law, 22, let's call her Sally, came to us saying that living with my mother-in-law has made her feel trapped, especially since she doesn't have a car to get around. After talking to my husband, we had agreed to let her live with us rent-free in exchange for her getting a full-time job and saving up for a car. We'd moved all our toddler's things out of the extra room and bathroom. The toddler now sleeps in our room and uses the bathroom in our room. I'd set up a job interview for Sally at my job and was able to get her hired. I let her know that this is temporary because she would need to do some schooling to keep working here. I also told Sally that you cannot be late to this job because everyone working has to wait for you to come for them to leave. Sally could pick up shifts at this job and pick up as much as she wanted. She would only pick up about 2 shifts a month. We told her she would still need to find another job to save for a car. It's been almost 4 months and she still hasn't found another job or saved anything for a car. Sally is constantly late to her current job and doesn't pay rent, clean or help with anything around the house. She mostly stays in her room watching TV all hours of the day and ordering food, even though we told her that she could cook and eat our food. We told her that since she's borrowing our vehicle, we will need to put her on the insurance, but she refuses to pay the difference. We talked to Sally about a month ago and told her that if she didn't get things moving, she would have to pay about $300 in rent. We pay about $1,700 with utilities. She said okay, but later cornered us, claiming we weren't fair for changing the agreement. Whenever I spoke up, she would just mock me. She said she was struggling with depression and needed someone to help her get up and brush her teeth and hair, to tell her what to do every day. We told her that we aren't her parents and we're treating her like an adult. If she needed professional help, we would get her the help, but she declined. About a month later, I told our other sister-in-law, 30, let's call her Ginny, that it wouldn't be a good idea for her to apply at her job because Sally is always late. Ginny shouldn't risk her hard-earned promotion and it might not look good on her. Well, Ginny had told Sally what I said about her being late and that it might hurt Ginny's reputation. Sally had come up to me and said she demanded an apology because it was an attack on her character and had hurt her feelings. I told her that I wouldn't apologize because it was true and she shouldn't expect an apology from everyone. Sally said that since I was her sister-in-law, I did have to apologize. Sally then ran to her room, cried and said she hated herself and that she wanted to die. I had messaged her telling her that if she needed professional help I wouldn't mind taking her, or my husband could if she was still mad at me. Sally then messaged me saying that if I had anything to say it to her face. She's now gone and hidden our dog's food and water and is still mad and upset. I feel like I can't even leave our room in fear that it's going to set off another meltdown for her. So would I be the idiot for having her go back to my mother-in-law's house since she won't do anything to help herself? Not the idiot. She was living like a child with mommy because she hadn't learned how to be an adult yet. Your mother-in-law's loser failure to launch adult is not your responsibility. If she wants to live like a big girl, she needs to figure her crap out. This weirdo stole their pet's food and water. She needs to go immediately before she actually hurts someone. OP, she needs to get out of your home ASAP. Just because she's depressed does not mean that she gets to freeload. If she's depressed enough that she isn't able to do anything without someone telling her to, then she needs professional help. The fact that she's hiding your dog's food and water is animal cruelty and would have me kicking her out so fast. You have 3 people living in one room and a dog. She has a room to herself, a car to borrow rent-free, and free food. Honestly, you've given her so much leeway and she's done nothing but tried to take more. And all this for over 4 months. The very minute she ran to her room crying, I would have told her to start packing because she wouldn't be staying in my house anymore, let alone after she decided to hide the pet food. That would have had her out the door in the blink of an eye with all of her possessions following her out. Update. Thank you everyone for the advice. Last night I talked to my husband and about trying to get Sally, sister-in-law, evicted with a written notice, and called my husband's mother to see about having Sally come back to her house. We were waiting for mother-in-law to call us back since she didn't answer our call. I had to leave for work, so I told my husband that he needed to talk to her about the dog's food. While I was at work, I received a text from my husband saying that he talked to Sally and she told him that she had the dog food in her room because he wasn't eating, which didn't make sense because he wasn't even in her room. She had also said that I was a backstabbing witch and needed to apologize to her. My husband told her that she has no right to talk about me that way and that I wouldn't apologize, and if she had a problem then she could leave. Sally then left to go and call her grandmother to get her to side with Sally. I think the grandmother convinced her that she was in the wrong. I then get a text message apologising for calling me a backstabbing witch and that she'd felt trapped at our house. I told her we'd given her all the freedom she wanted. All we'd asked was that she get a full-time job and that we couldn't do anything else to help her. In fact, maybe it would be a good idea to find another place to live because it was just making everything worse for her. Sally texted me back, agreeing and saying she was willing to go to the behavioural hospital. Afterwards, she would live with her sister and find a job near her sister's house. Sally mentioned that she still loved us and wanted to come visit occasionally to try to fix our relationship. I messaged Sally back and said it was a good idea and my husband would take her tonight before she could second-guess herself. Sally is currently in the hospital. Thank you for joining me on the roller coaster. I, nearly adult female, live with my mum, my two younger sisters, teen and young teen, and my younger brother, tween. We live in a two-bedroomed house, so I have to share a room with all my siblings. This has been the setup for most of my life. I'm in my second year of college, and so I'm thinking of my university options. My mom asked me yesterday whether I was thinking of moving out. I don't want to because I already have to take out a tuition fee loan and don't want to have to use an even bigger maintenance loan. I also work and don't want to give that up because of the pay. I don't need to ask my mum for money anymore and can contribute to birthday and Christmas presents for my siblings. I explained these reasons to my mum and added that the only reason I would move out is to have my own space. My mum got really offended and asked what I meant. I explained that I would love to have my own room as I've shared all my life, but that would be the main reason and that staying home would be much better. She got angry at this and said I was ungrateful for her sacrifices and didn't appreciate what I had. I was surprised by this because I didn't think I was being rude. I am very grateful for what my mum has done for me. It's why I got a job, so I didn't have to take money from her and can help her with other things. However, she seemed really hurt by what I said. I have apologised, but I still feel really bad. So, am I the idiot for telling my mum that if I was to move out for uni, the main reason would be to get my own room? Not the idiot. It's completely normal for you as a college student to want your own space. It's a healthy stage of growth for a young adult to live independently, make their own decisions, and have their own opinions, plans, likes and dislikes. Especially if you've always had several little siblings around, it sounds very appealing to live in a young adult world for a change with your peers. It should not be seen as an offence against your family. Your mom is struggling with what is called detachment. It's when their child hits adolescence and young adulthood and is ready to separate and make their own way in the world. She's lashing out with words like ungrateful to try to guilt you to stop you from moving through your normal life stages. She should not do that, but don't worry, she'll adjust and get over it. Ungrateful for what sacrifices exactly? Your mother has her own room. She's not doing what most mothers do who have too many children and not enough bedrooms and have to sleep in the lounge. Your mother should have vacated her room and each child should share a bedroom instead of having 4 children in one room. That's utterly ridiculous. I'm sorry, why did she ask if she didn't want an honest answer? She sure did twist that around to guilt trip you. Wanting your own space at your age isn't unreasonable. Your mom, however, is the one being mean. You have zero to apologise for. She asked you a question and you gave an honest answer, period. Good luck. I'm a 47-year-old male with 2 children, one son, Jack, 20, and one daughter, Ella, a young teen, from my late wife. My wife died while giving birth to our daughter due to some complications during the process. Jack was pre-tween when my daughter was born, and I immediately had him in therapy to help with the grief of losing his mother because I didn't want him to blame his sister. It worked very well because my son loves his baby sister to bits and has never, not even in an argument, held my wife's death over her. Before I started dating, I asked my children if they were okay with it. I gave them as much time as they wanted to think about it with no pressure. They said they were okay with it after having secret meetings in their rooms and making little plans and stuff, which I thought was very cute. Now onto the current issue. I've been with my fiancée for 3 years total, engaged for 5 months. She moved into my house after I proposed with her 2 children, a boy, nearly adult, and a girl, young teen, because it was much bigger and had more room. As the relationship got serious, I suggested we sit down and ask the children if they wanted a step-parent or just a parent-spouse type relationship going forward. Both sets of children emphasized the parent-spouse relationship, which my fiancé and I respected. My fiancé and I also decided that we would be taking care of our respective children financially, socially, etc. This didn't mean not helping each other occasionally, but we were each responsible for our own children. We both didn't want more children, and I got a vasectomy to prevent any accidental pregnancies. This worked okay for the first few months of us living together, My fiancée was responsible for the food, laundry, school, etc. of her children, while I was responsible for the same for my children. My fiancée has a 9-to-5 job while I run my own business, so I often have more free time compared to her. The main issue started on Jack's 20th birthday, which was a month ago. I got him a brand new car of his choice with modifications and stuff. He was stuck driving his sister to ballet practice, but he sucked it up for his dream car. Everything was okay at the birthday dinner, but later, when it was just me and my fiancée in our bedroom, she said we needed to talk. Apparently, her children want me to be their stepfather now because they've seen how much I love my own children. They want to join me and my children on the trips we take around the world, and they want to get cool gifts too. Now, I would have been okay with this, but the way she worded it just rubbed me the wrong way. She was only talking about the trips and the gifts, nothing more. She didn't say anything about getting to know each other better, just trips and gifts. Now, the trips I take with my kids are to visit their maternal family around the world. They live in 3 countries, and I've always made sure that my children have had a close relationship with all of them. As for the gifts, my children mostly only get gifts on birthdays, Christmas, or if they've achieved one of the goals set for them in school or extracurricular activities. Like when Ella won a ballet competition last year and I got her a new phone, stuff like that. I told my fiancée flat out that it looked like her children only wanted me as a stepfather to get gifts and be invited on trips. I said that while I understood they were children, it was her job to correct them and tell them that forming relationships just to use people isn't a nice thing to do. I would have been happy to form a relationship with them, but the fact that their motives were only expensive gifts was absolutely disgusting, especially since she was encouraging it. She tried backtracking by saying that they're children and young and that they didn't know better. She also tried using how she doesn't make as much as I do and can't spoil them like I can to guilt me, but I wouldn't budge. Because in my opinion, she's the one who's supposed to tell them better. She's supposed to teach them how wrong this mindset is. Besides, we had a prior agreement. My fiancé has tried to bring this up again, but I refused to change my mind. I've also talked to my children, who have said that they wouldn't really be happy if fiancé's children called me dad. So that's only made me a little firmer in my decision. My children have always come first to me and always will. However, with how pushy my fiancé is being, I've started to doubt if maybe I'm the one in the wrong and being stubborn for no reason. So, am I the idiot for refusing to be a stepfather to my fiancé's children? Everyone's the idiot here. This isn't going to work. The two of you should not be living together until all of the children are adults. You are either going to have to give in and be everyone's sugar daddy, or tell fiancé that she needs to move out and continue to take care of her own kids because you're not their parent and do not want to be taken advantage of by all of them. Totally agree that this won't work. Totally disagree that OP should wait until the children are all adults because the children are not the problem. The fiancé is the problem. If her kids want a step ATM instead of a step-parent, then it's her job to correct them. But she isn't doing that. She's pushing OP to be the step ATM. Plus, if she's being this greedy and materialistic, who knows if her kids actually said anything? She might be making it up to manipulate OP. I had a friend who grew up in a household like this. Her stepdad, who had his own business and worked full-time, bought his son frequent and luxurious gifts, designer clothes, vacations, etc., and only the son could use the gaming computer and other gadgets